two, whoo!
Welcome to Authenticity Lab, a podcast where we celebrate the connection with our authentic selves. I'm Dr. Kelsey Miles, musician, songwriter, and also a chemistry professor. Each week, I share a new story and break it down using none other than the scientific method. At the end of every episode, I share a life experiment that you can run to help you get closer to what makes you who you really are. My hope with every episode is that I inspire you to live more boldly, lead with curiosity, and help you get connected with your true self. This week's episode, I am joined by my two beautiful co-hosts. This is Miss Rhody Miles here. She's laying on her back, sprawled out. If you're watching the video, you can see her. I'm filming it using the wide camera angle with my phone so you can see her. And then to my right and to your left is Miss Encore Miles, and she is not quite a year old yet. So these two ladies know something's up, and this episode this week is about burnout. Have you ever woken up after a good night of sleep and you thought to yourself, I am still really tired? You ever hit a wall at work and just thought, gosh, I can't even focus? Like you just keep trying to push to get something done, and eventually your brain just says, no, we're not doing it anymore. Well, that, my friends, is your body screaming, you are not listening to me and we need you to. It's called burnout, and it's really what I'm facing right now. We're near the end of our semester teaching, and I noticed that this happened last year to me as well. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about burnout. Let's talk about why it happens. Let's figure out a plan moving forward. And let's feel a little bit better about it, because if you're also like me, you feel guilty for not being able to power through. And my friends, when your body speaks up like this, it's because of something very important that we'll talk about. You aren't really listening to your inner voice. Let's dive in. Well, here is where I'm at right now. It's near the end of the semester for this academic year. I barely took a break during winter break. I was recording my next album. This spring break, I went up to Wisconsin to play more shows. I've already experienced the end of semesters being extra stressful, especially when students are wanting to graduate. There's a lot of realization that they need to do well so that they can graduate, which causes a little bit more added requirements from their professors. Here's the theme, though, that really bothers me with this feeling burnt out. And for me, what comes up is that I feel bad for feeling so burnt out, because even though I logically have some things I can say are happening that cause me to be burnt out, there's also a voice inside my head that is so freaking loud that says, you have no reason to be burnt out. You've been more stressed before. This is nothing compared to what I know you can handle. And that's what's been happening for me this time, which is really hard to hear, because not only am I feeling burnout, but I am judging myself for being burnt out. And the other day, my boyfriend and I let me know if you can relate to this when you're feeling burnt out. But the other day, my boyfriend and I were going out to run an errand, and I snapped at him quickly about something, just snapped. And then later that evening when he dropped me off, and he had somewhere else to go hang out with some friends, and I just wanted to stay at home, and he dropped me off and he left, and I just started bawling in my living room, just like standing in the middle of my living room, just crying. And it was just like my body just saying, I am done. We don't want to do anything. And then, of course, that loud voice in my head of saying, you've dealt with more before. How are you possibly burnt out right now? All right. So this feeling of burnout, it's like a depletion. It's like I have no my cup is not full. You can't give if your cup is empty. And it just feels completely empty. And then when I thought more about what's behind that depletion, like, what is that? It's really just feeling grief. It's feeling lonely. It's feeling not seen for being me. It's almost as if it's happening because I didn't listen when my inner voice was like, hey, we want to rest a little bit, or like, we just want to take this a little slower, or like, we're really glad that we did that thing. We should celebrate. And then I just zoom by it, doing the next thing. This really brings me to my song in my last album. This song is called I See You, and it's all about self-celebration. And I started to think about how much pressure I was putting on myself about feeling burnt out, and that I had no reason to be burnt out, that I've been more stressed before and I can handle it. Does that sound familiar? Hello, my fellow people pleasers and fellow high achievers and the helpers out there. I know you have felt that way before. And so let me go ahead and read a few of these lyrics from my song, I See You. One of the main themes in this song is something I'm realizing I need to do for myself right now, which is just to see myself as a person, give myself some grace, no matter what's going on. Like, really see me for me instead of judging myself for being burnt out. This is chapter 8 in my I Am Lyrical journey. And if you struggle with self-celebration, this chapter 8 would be perfect for you. You can get a copy of this journal on my website, kelseymiles.com/100days. And this journal is so helpful if you also struggle with burnout as well. All right. I See You. This song is about self-celebration. And I want to read the lyrics in the pre-chorus here. It says, well, you may fail and you may fall. Some days it feels like nothing helps at all. So let this song remind you, thanks to you, we're getting through. Thank you. And the chorus says, I see you in everything you do. I see you.
You may fail and you may fall. Some days it feels like nothing helps at all. So let the song remind you, thanks to you, we're getting through. Thank you. Woo! I see you.
I love these lyrics, especially in the topic of burnout, is because no matter if you're failing or falling, there's still you as the person. We judge ourselves so strongly about what we do or don't do, what we accomplish and what we don't accomplish, if we are being successful. And we forget to see that we're people, and actually we're just enough being us. And we're in a world where that doesn't exist. What is burnout? You know what burnout is? This is the scary part about burnout. It's when you didn't listen to your inner voice enough. I know this to be true for myself. I totally knew that I wasn't listening to it. I kind of heard it where I needed to take a break, but I couldn't. I was in the middle of the semester. I needed to keep going. And so I did. Feeling burnt out was the effect that happened with me not listening to my inner voice, the inner voice that's really quiet. And so what happens is we end up it's chronic stress. That's what happens. And we quiet that voice. We pretend like it's not there. And eventually your body then says something. And when your body says something, it's much harder to ignore, right? If you ignore your inner voice, it's so quiet, it'll keep coming up and keep coming up. It's really difficult to ignore exhaustion. It's really difficult to ignore nausea. It's really difficult to ignore brain fog. And you can't think at all. That's what our body will do to get us to listen, to pay attention, to do something, to fix this unbalanced state that we're in. In a way, this is so connected to the whole point of this podcast. The more that you connect with your authentic self, the better you're going to feel. And one of the ways that our bodies will feel when we aren't connected is burnt out, if it gets bad enough. I did not start this podcast because I am a perfect specimen of connecting with my authentic self. I started this because I realized how important it is for me to do this. I want to share a quick story about when I was in graduate school and I experienced burnout on a level I had never experienced. And I'm proud to say I've never let it get that bad. I was in lab and I was in graduate school researching, and I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I was not only a musician at night, I was a chemist during the day. And I remember vividly in lab, it was like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so really early on in my day. And I remember my eyesight got really foggy, like it was weird. And so then I went into my computer and it was still that way. And I kind of looked around because I thought maybe there was some reaction happening. And so there was some smoke in the air and something was going on, and it wasn't the case. None of my colleagues were reacting. I asked one of my friends, I said, hey, like, is it foggy to you in here? And they're like, no, it's not. And I said, okay, I think something's wrong. And then I got a little dizzy and I remember just not feeling great. And so then I decided to go home. My colleagues told me, you need to go home. So I went home and I slept for, no joke, I think I slept for 16 to 18 hours that first night. Crazy. I go back to work the next day and it happened again in the afternoon. And so I went back home and I slept for another 16 or 18 hours. Those 2 nights then allowed me to go back to work, but I wasn't quite at 100%. And that was the first indication to me that our bodies, when we don't listen, will absolutely speak up. And you never want to get it to there because it's really hard to recover from something like that. It took me a long time to feel more like myself. So here I am, even older, and still I feel like I'm wiser, yet I'm still making choices where I'm not perfectly listening to my inner voice. And the thing I'm learning this time is to not make it worse by judging myself, and to make it okay that it's happening. I now see it. And to also see myself as a person, not for what I do, but just for who I am. And that it's okay that I fail sometimes and don't quite do it that well. It's okay. In fact, me even saying that to myself right now on this podcast just makes me feel a lot more at ease. And the exhaustion I feel from being burnt out doesn't feel as bad. It's almost like I'm just telling myself it's okay that you feel burnout, and then the burnout isn't as bad. Like really feeling my feelings. Because in all honesty, burnout is not laziness. Burnout is your body asking you to take a freaking break. It's asking you to notice yourself. Burnout is asking you to pause and to listen. Now it's time for your life experiment. If you've stuck around this long in this episode, it's because you're also feeling some burnout. Here is the best question I go back to asking myself when I'm trying to make decisions, and it especially works when you're feeling burnt out. I want you to ask yourself this question: what would a person who loves themselves do? So when you're trying to figure out what to do, you're feeling burnt out, ask yourself that question. I guarantee if you listen, you'll do exactly what you need to do in that moment. We're going to treat ourselves this week a little better. We are going to do and introduce an action for our life experiments. I want you to pick one of these things. You don't have to do all of them. Just one of them would suffice. You want to think about something that would actually serve you, something that would feel like showing up for yourself. For example, maybe you choose to drink 1 glass of water before your cup of coffee because you want to make sure you drink enough water. Maybe you plug your phone in and keep it outside of your bedroom tonight so you don't numbly just scroll through your phone staying up too late. Maybe you take a 5 to 10 minute walk right after dinner one of these nights this week. Or right in the morning, you wake up, you go for a little walk, get some sunlight in your eyes. That'd be amazing. What if you just let yourself cry? Seriously, maybe you just need to cry. What if you're able to rest without any guilt? Sometimes for me, I actually have to set a timer and tell myself, I have to put it in my schedule and just say, I'm resting for these 30 minutes. Part of that is just because I feel so guilty about resting. Maybe you don't have issues with that, but if you do, that could be one way you can rest without any guilt. Find something that you just really like to do. See if you can do that for a little bit of time. Maybe it's coloring, maybe it's playing an instrument, maybe it's talking to a friend. You got to do it this week. Pick one of those. See if you can do it. You need to fill your cup up. Here's the other thing that you're not going to do. If you're feeling burnt out, you're not going to be judging yourself for feeling burnt out. That gets you nowhere. So the moment you have that loud inner critic show up, say, thank you, no thank you. You aren't helping. What I need help with is we're going to do this life experiment instead. We're going to go for a walk after dinner, whatever the thing is. And as you do this thing, before and after, I want you to be really conscious about this. Tell your body, tell yourself, I hear you. Every time you feel that inner critic judging you for being burnt out, tell yourself, I know, and I hear you. I'm listening. I'm working on it. We're getting there. You are heard. You're understood. We're burnt out. I get it. We're going to get through this. If you tell yourself that, you're going to essentially, when you tell your body and your mind and your soul that you hear it and that you're listening and that you're right with it, it will calm you down. It gives you a sense of calm so that you can navigate that and work together with everything. You're not trying to work against what your body is wanting and desiring in this moment. Listen, I know what it's like to push and push and push. And I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. And I know some of you are going to think, but who's going to do the thing that needs to get done? And I'm right here to remind you that your health is not worth it to completely crumble and crush and have nothing left to give. Think about it this way. If your cup is empty, then you have nothing to give to anyone. It is so important that you fill your cup first so that it runs over and all the extra you have, you get to give. I'm telling you, you won't feel as good if you keep running yourself down. It doesn't work that way. I'm not telling you from a place of I never run myself down. I'm telling you from a place of I know how much I can actually give my students, my friends, my boyfriend, my family, the people around me when my cup is full. And I also understand how much I don't have to give when I'm feeling burnt out. There's nothing wrong with you. Your body is speaking up because we didn't listen to our inner voice. It's time for you to pause. It's time for you to listen. And this listening exercise is super important because the better you get at it, the more likely you'll catch it before the burnout gets to be too bad. And then you become unrecognizable, and it takes months for you to recover. Do this for yourself. Don't let it get any worse. And do not judge yourself. You're not lazy. It's time for some rest. I need you to see yourself because I see you. It's time. If this episode helped you in any way or sparked a little inspiration in your heart or in your mind for the next time you experience some burnout, I'd love if you could share this with a friend who might need it too. And if you're currently sitting in a season of burnout, I'd love if you sent me a quick little email. Tell me how you're doing. It's kelsey@kelseymiles.com. And also, if you have any ideas for my next episode, something you're working through, something that's happening in your life that you'd love for me to explore in a topic, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear about it. I want to leave you with the chorus of this song, I See You. I see you in everything you do. I see you. I see you and what you're going through. I see you.
I see you in everything you do. I see you. I
Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Authenticity Lab. This week, we talked about burnout and some life experiments that you could run this week if you too are feeling burnt out. I'll be back next week with a new life story to help inspire you to live boldly, lead a life of curiosity, and keep being your most amazing, authentic self.
Yeah, that house will always call you.